Today we have a very long title in our recipe. It's Basmati Rice, Garbanzo, Cherry, Gremolata. And it's worth a long title because it's really delicious. So we have a few parts to this recipe where we have the Basmati rice section, which is where we're going to start. And this is what we are going to use for our ingredients for the Basmati rice. We have 1 cup of Basmati rice, 1.5 cups of water, and you can use just water, or you could use put a little broth of vegetable oil or chicken broth in it. Then we have the zest of 1 whole lemon. This is really good. And we have 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. Always at the end of the recipes, at the end of the show, is the exact ingredients in case we goof up. Okay, and then we just mix everything together. And the bay leaf in hiding, and just a sprinkle of salt. So that part's simple enough. So we use a 1.5 quart casserole, and then we're going to cover it. We want it airtight, so I'm just covering it with aluminum foil, and it's going to go in the oven at 375 degrees for 40 minutes. And then when we take it out, we're going to put this wonderful topping on it. So here it goes in the oven. Voila, it's just come out of the oven. And the first thing we want to do is just fluff it up a little bit and take the bay leaf out. So, you know, the thing I like about Basmati rice is it's really fluffy. I like lots of rice, but what I like about Basmati is those long grains and how fluffy and substantial it feels. Okay, now here comes the second part. Here comes the really fancy Gremolata. First, we have our protein source. We have 1 cup of chickpeas, also called garbanzo beans. And then we have 3/4 cup of dried cherries, or you could use dried cranberries. So that's the protein source. And now we've got the Gremolata. Gremolata is a little bit like pesto, but it's not. It's usually it's a parsley and lemon and olive oil combination that can be used on lots of things. So in this case, we have we're using 1/4 cup of flat leafed parsley, all chopped up, and 2 tablespoons, I was a little generous, of fresh mint leaf, because I have fresh mint in the garden and it's so good. It's a little generous in its proportions. Then we have 2 tablespoons of fresh dill. This is not exactly fresh, but it's close to it. It's from the Indian market in just last week's version of it. So then we have garlic, 1 big clove of garlic that's all minced up. We have 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Then we have just 1/8 teaspoon of allspice. And then we have just, our customary little bit of salt and pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 teaspoon of pepper. Now these all get mixed together. My saliva is already busy at work because I know how good this is. So it's got just the little red wine vinegar is the only wet ingredient in here. So it's got proteins, it's got fresh dill, it's got fresh mint, it's got fresh parsley, and lots of lemon zest. There's lemon zest in here, and when we finish, we're going to put a sprinkling of lemon zest on top, if I have any left. Okay, so here it looks. Now we're just going to spread it out. Now, if I were serving this at a party, which I often do, because it's really good, I would put extra parsley or mint or something just as a little sparkle, a little emphasis around here. But there it is. It's colorful, it's full of nutrition, it's low calories, no sugar, except the cherries or cranberries, which is nothing. And here's what it tastes like. I can't wait. It reminds me so much of Europe with all the fresh ingredients and the low sugar content. It feels a little Mediterranean, a little, almost getting close to the Holy Lands, but it's really very tasty, very delicious. It's become one of my favorites. I hope you like it too. Lime mousse. This is one of my secret favorite recipes, and one of the reasons it's a secret is it's a really healthy version of a dessert. It feels like it should be laden with calories. It feels like it should have a lot of sugar in it and a lot of cream, but it doesn't. It has avocados for the good fat which gives it that really creamy consistency, and we are sweetening it just a little. The original recipe I had was agave syrup, which is delicious, but it's a little high in the sugar content. So I have substituted equal portions of xylitol and stevia. So we have here, so let's look at all the ingredients. So we have here 5 avocados, which I've just peeled. We have our sweetener, which is 1/4 cup of stevia and 1/4 cup of xylitol. And we have, oh, this is the killer good part, 1/3 cup of lime zest. And we have 2/3 to 1, this was about 2/3 of a cup of fresh lime juice. And then, our perfunctory, just a little twist of salt. Okay, so, and it's all gonna go in the Cuisinart, and then it's gonna be dressed up real pretty. So first it all comes in here. I have these out just to make it look beautiful at the end. Okay, so we have all our ingredients ready to go. And here we go. Oh, looking good. It's relatively easy and it's fast, isn't it? Oh, I need a little bit more. Looks a little too much like guacamole right now, which wouldn't be bad either. I have to taste it just a little. I'm going to put some of these great lime slices on it just to dress it up, but I'm going to taste it first. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The lime zest is so important in this. It's terrible to be in the kitchen because I can cheat and I can eat this. So I'm just taking the lime slices I wouldn't need to, just to make it look pretty. Now, if that isn't one, so here's our lemon mousse. This one, you could make a much bigger recipe, and I've done that before. I used small avocados on this, and you could get the giant size ones. This was about 6 lime. They were those little tiny limes. So you have to just vary with the consistency because they're all raw ingredients, and sometimes they're large and sometimes they're small. But this is killer.